All right, today I have a 2004 BMW X5 with a 4.4 6 HP 26. All right, and the owner of the car drove here from New Jersey to see if we can't straighten out this ongoing problem that he has. And the problem is when the car heats up, it goes into failsafe, and it won't come out until it cools down. And also, if you shut the car off, the car will not start unless it cools down. And also his Prindle display, when the car gets hot, it goes out. So he came here, left the car running, and he was talking to me, explaining the problem. So I went to get my scan tool, because when he was telling me that it doesn't start until it cools down, I had a feeling that it was probably reading the incorrect year. So I put my scan tool on it. I went into codes first, and I got a 5088 code, sensor gearbox selector switch. And sure enough, when I went into data, car was in park, running, and it was reading reverse. And I go to reverse, it reads reverse. I go to neutral, it reads reverse. And I go to drive, it reads reverse all the time. So that's why it doesn't start. And then when it cools down, it reads correctly again. Okay, now, I'm seeing this code a lot. I started seeing this code a lot probably in the last couple of months. I saw it about a dozen times. And I read on the forum, there's not much information out there. I read on the forums, people with this code, they're changing the shifter. May work, it may not work. You know, they try solenoids, it doesn't work. So there's really not much information, but you know, I have a theory behind this. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I'm seeing this code so much now that I'm starting to, you know, kind of take it on and check the cars out and see what I see. But again, the code that I have with this car is sensor gearbox selector switch. Okay, so that again is part of the TCM or part of the mechatronic unit. All right, you have that slide. Here's his valve body, but the part is I'm hopefully gonna have today or tomorrow to put the mechatronic back on, put it back in the car. Part of the mechatronic unit, you have that slide piece, okay? And if you do have this code with gearbox selector switch as the definition, first thing you could try to do is clean the magnets, because that stuff it may throw it off because it gets all full of the magnetic particles that are floating around in the oil. So I always clean that thing down real good. I take the valve body down, I take the unit off, and I clean both sides and just clean up the mechatronic unit in general. And try it and see if that works. There is another definition with this 588 code, as you'll see, that I took off a BMW form that the guy gave a shot, I guess, with his scan tool. And it was code 5088 sensor transmission switch L1, L4. All right, those are the L circuits. They are not located in the mechatronic unit, okay? I believe the L circuits are in the shifter. All right, now on the 5 speeds, figure the 5HP19, the 5HP24, you have an external neutral safety switch. The L circuits are in there. Those switches do go bad quite often, so if you get a code for that, something with the L circuit, you change that switch out. I've done plenty of them, and you're good to go. All right, now, in the 6-speed, they eliminated that switch, so the research that I've done looking at wiring diagrams, the L circuits are not in the mechatronic unit. I do believe they are in the shifter assembly. All right, so those can go bad, maybe from spilling something, you know, your cup holders are there, coffee or tea or something may spill in there. You know, I had I just did a shifter on a 722.6. And what was going on with that was you had hard engagements, the display did not read, and when you went to put the car into park with it running, it wouldn't go past reverse. You had to shut the car off and put it on. That's a classic sign of a bad shifter. But what happened with that one was the customer I think it was a nice day out, and he was in shopping, or his wife was in shopping, and the sunroof was left open, and it rained, and the water got down in there, and it ruined that shifter assembly. Electronic shifter module, as they call it. It's really the shifter assembly. So when we're talking about transmission switch L1, L4 on a BMW, my theory is, you know, you got this 588 code, but what is the definition? Okay, I've seen two definitions. I've seen the sensor gearbox selector switch, which is the Mechatronic unit, and I verified that through the scan tool with what's going on. You know, we're losing the brindle when it gets hot, and I think that is the problem, is that the transmission is heating up and then it's malfunctioning. When it cools down, it reads fine. I've actually seen that on other cars with 42 RLEs. I had one about a month ago, and the guys brought it to his general mechanic, who was my wholesale account, and said the car doesn't start when it's hot, but it does when it cools down. So I guess they were, I don't know if it had a code in there. I'm not 100% sure even if it had a code, but basically the guy sent them to us and for us to check the car. So we let it run, we verified the complaint. I ran and got my scan tool. When it was happening, actually I already had it hooked up. We left the car in drive running with the brake on to get this thing really to heat up. And I was reading drive all the time, and the car of course wouldn't start. So with the 42 RLEs, we dropped out the valve body, put a new neutral switch on, and that was his problem. So again, with this 588 code, my theory is, because I read on the forums that they changed the shifter assembly, it didn't work. They're trying this, it didn't work. But I guess it really depends on what the definition is. I mean, that's my theory, I could be wrong. So if you have this sensor transmission switch L1, L4, we're basically looking at the shifter. And if you have the gearbox selector switch, we're pretty much looking at the Mechatronic unit. I mean, that's my theory. Again, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this code a lot, so I decided to, you know, start looking into it and trying to figure out what I can figure out. So with this particular one, we are dealing with a bad Mechatronic unit. I guess these circuits in there, again, when it gets heat up, it must distort something, get a wrong reading. When it cools down, it's fine. So I'm waiting for this unit to come back. It should be back today. I did some filming already before I even took the unit out of the car. So the next shot we're gonna get, you're gonna see, I'll be in the car with the scan tool, and you'll see it working okay. Then I'll let the car run, then you'll see it not working okay, and I give you a shot of the data of how it's always reading. All right, so we'll move forward with that, and the next shot you're going to see is a shot, again, I'll be in the scan tool, with the scan tool in the car, and you'll see when it's working, when it's not working. All right, so that'll be the next shot. We'll get started with that. All right, so we got this code 5088, sensor gearbox selector switch. Okay, and as you can see right now on the dash, let me just see if I can get a little closer here. Okay, you can see it's working. Park is lit up, reverse is lit. Okay, all that is working good. The transmission shifts. Okay, now I'm going to go into data, and I want to show you the data that it's working as well. We're going to let the car run here for a little while. All right, so here's a shot of the L circuits, the actual gear, and the transmission position. Okay, so right now everything is reading correctly. I'm just going to put the shifter through the gears here. All right, and that is all still reading correctly. Car has to heat up, and then it will fault. Okay, and also the prindle up on the dash is still illuminated. So we're going to let this car run for about 15 minutes, and we're going to come back out and we're going to see if it is faulting. When that happens, the prindle on the dash will be out and the transmission position is going to read the wrong gear. Like I'll be in park, it'll read reverse. And then the car has to cool down in order to start again, because of course the computer thinks the car is in reverse. It's not going to let it start. So we're just going to wait a couple of minutes here. I'm going to go back inside, do a couple of things, leave the car running. Okay, and as you can see, I got to focus this thing. There we go. Okay, this is still working. Okay, all right, so I will be back in about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to let the car run. All right, so as you can see, the prindle is no longer lit up. And as I move this through the gears, there's nothing lit up anymore. So now I'm back in park. And now let me just get the scan tool set up. I'm going to give you a shot of the scan tool back on the data again. So give me 1 second. All right, so I'm in park right now. All right, and it's actually reading park. For the longest time, last couple of days, it's been reading reverse. So now I'm going to put it into reverse. And as you can see, it's still reading park, neutral, and drive. So it's not really moving off of park. And the actual gear is saying third, so it's in, fail safe at this point. And I'm going to put this back into park. Now it's in park. Okay, there we go. Now it's reading reverse. And this is why the car won't start until it cools down. All right, so I'm in park. That's reverse, neutral, and drive. And it constantly is reading reverse. But I'm actually in drive right now.
All right, here is another 5088 code. I'm on the actually BMW forum. And we have sensors, transmission switch L1 through L4. And those are in the shifter, okay? So the guy changed the shifter assembly and it fixed the car. Okay, I'm getting the 5088, but my definition says sensors, gearbox, selector switch. So I'm gonna be looking more towards the transmission instead of the, shifter assembly on the top.
All right, so we're going to take the TCM off of the valve body. So we'll take the bolts out. So I can lay this thing down flat. I put the sleeve back in so I can push this down. Okay, now we got to separate that. Let me just get my tool here. All right, we're going to take this very carefully. right, so this right here is your range switch, transmission range switch. All right. And this plate, which I always like to clean, has the magnets on it. And as you select, you know, reverse, drive, and as this moves, it tells the computer what gear you're in. So if you are getting these range switch codes, the first thing you could try to do is clean this down, you know, clean both sides of this, and also make sure that this is not cracked. Okay, I haven't seen it cracked, but I've heard reports, a couple of reports, that it was cracked. I'm not really sure where, because again, I've never seen it. All right, so at this point, we're going to clean this thing up and get this ready to be shipped out. All right, so that is probably take about a week and a half. I think it's 3 days there, a couple days, I'm going to say 3 days for repair and 3 days back. And it goes to Southern Europe, a company called Soft Electronics. And that's it. And also, after the repair, I'm filling this over the course of, you know, it's probably been about a week now. But it comes back blank. So it has to be reprogrammed again. He wipes it out. So even if you had one of these, instead of buying one, you had one, you can always send it to him. He can wipe it clean and send it back. You know, this actually will be the first time using his services. One of my friends that works on BMW has used the services before with Soft Electronics. I think they're in Bulgaria. And he pretty much sets the whole thing up. The communication is by email, payment is through PayPal, and he sets the whole thing up and has it picked up. So it's, you know, pretty simple. You just got to box it up. It is plastic, so in a, you know, try to not too big of a box because that may affect shipping, but box it up and protect it as much as you possibly can. All right, so that's about it for now. I'll give you guys an update as I know something. And that's it for now, so I'll be back. All right, so continuing with this 5088 code, I received the unit back from Southern Europe or Bulgaria. All right, they send you a warranty card. The warranty is unlimited 6 months miles warranty, valid from date of issue. All right, so we got that, and we pretty much got, this is like a, I guess like a customs form and a packing list. Okay, so I did confirm with him that a fault was found in the range sensor and they replaced it. So this is the unit that, this is the original one, so I actually don't even have to program this because they fixed this one. I thought they would honestly swap it out, but they didn't. So what we're going to do now is I'll get a little closer. We're going to mount this back on to the trans, and then once they get a free lift, I'm going to hang this valve body back, and all I really got to do is put the new filter. This particular BMW has the metal pan, so I'm going to put a new filter, new fluid. I have a pan gasket, and we'll be good to go. And he wants me to report to him just to confirm that everything is good. All right, so let me get a little closer, and we're going to mount this back onto the valve body. Okay. All right, so this, I'm just gonna take this out because I already have one. I wanted to show you something on this slide plate here. All right, so this has the, this is an M-shift valve body. You know, the E-shift valve body would have the solenoids. So I'm gonna hook the manual valve up to this one. Okay, usually in E-shift you hook it up to this one, because this is more of like a piston that has to move to get the car out of park, and this is just the conventional shifter. Okay, all hooked up here, that looks good. Solenoids already have been changed, so I don't have to worry about that. I'll put these bolts back in. Soft Electronics has a pretty good, pretty cool video, just a minute or two long, on this Megatronic unit, and they show you know, how it comes apart. It's pretty cool. So it was probably, once they picked it up, it was probably about, it's usually about 3 days to get there. They fixed it in 1 day. I had contacted him, I left an email and asked him if he received anything, and they said they got the package this morning, and then the next day they said the unit is ready to go. That's why I figured they just had another one, they checked it, confirmed it, and they had another one maybe ready to go, because normally these would have to be programmed, but they just fixed this one. So he said just put it back in the car. All right, so we're gonna hang this valve body. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the bridge seal, which is new, back in. All right, I got the valve body here. Okay. So we've got the manual valve lined up. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll just go with the rest of the bolts. Okay, let me get that other one. Okay, let me just go get my torque wrench, and we'll torque that down, put the filter in, and I'm gonna put the sleeve in, and I'll have the guys put the pan up and the oil in when they come in. All right, so give me 1 second here. Let me go get the torque wrench. Okay. Okay. All right, now let me see if I can reposition this thing. I'll put the sleeve in, push the tab up there. All right, just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can do that. Okay. Let's get the sleeve in here. Okay, and push that up. And then the wires. Okay. All right, that is in. Here is the fill and check plug right here. All right, let me just grab the filter. This is the metal pan. This isn't the plastic pan. Let me grab the filter. I'll put the filter up, and then I'll have the guys just put the pan up and fill it with fluid. All right, so let me go grab the filter and just make sure it's going to stay in there okay. Okay, put the filter in. Okay. All right, so at this point, just going to wait till they get in. I have the pan gasket, I have the pan cleaned up, ready to go. And put the pan and new fluid in, Lifeguard 6.
And then after that, we're gonna get a shot of the Prindle again. We're gonna let it run, just do the same thing we did when we got it to fault. Just to make sure that everything is working okay. All right, so the next shot, we're gonna be in the car with the scan tool. All right, so probably do that either later today or tomorrow. So I'll be back. All right, so the end result is everything is good. I got this car running for a while, and this thing has not faulted once. Normally, after about 10 minutes of running, this thing would fault. So we had a successful repair of the TCM, and everything is good. So just to sum it up, 2004 BMW X5 had code 5088, and the definition of that code was sensor gearbox selector switch. We sent it out to Europe to be repaired. It had a successful repair, and all is well. This thing definitely would be faulting right now because the car's been running for a while. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next one.